The rise in divorce cases highlights the evolving dynamics of modern relationships. Sensitizing couples is crucial for fostering healthier communication and understanding, ultimately strengthening the fabric of families and society. Join us as we delve into this pressing issue and explore strategies. If you have missed past editions of Women and Leadership on Canal International, you just need to go to our YouTube page, you type Women and Leadership, type the topic of the day, and watch all our past editions. We'll be right back after the jingle. And it's time for us to know our guests. We have invited just the right persons to diagnose the very important topic, which is the rising or alarming rates of divorce in Cameroon, why not Africa at large. And right beside me on my right, I have a Dr. Fawn Elizabeth. She is a CEO of Toujours, a center which the family marriage work counseling. How are you doing today, Doc?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
All right, I'm tempted to ask you, how many women do you receive a day at your center? It's a center specialized in counseling couples.
Relationship.
Okay.
We are a relationship company. So it's not only women that we receive.
Okay.
Yeah. We receive men, we receive women, we receive children, youths, and we receive employees. Yes. I mean persons.
And what are the problems that come up? What are the most pressing problems, especially from couples?
From couples. Money management, communication, in-laws, sexuality, blended families, stepchildren. Yeah. All
right, we'll talk about that. We equally have Pastor Acha Diodone. He's a man of God, family counselor. He has multiple caskets. It's been a while. I met him. Pastor, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
Now, when you hear about the killings of young girls today in Cameroon, today we have documented at least 20 women killed from violence. We have women killed by their husbands. Just the other day, a 25-year-old girl was discovered and Gombe killed. Now, when you get these stories, how do you feel?
It is alarming. It is disgusting. It's not something you need to think about. To start with, nobody has the right to take a life of somebody, and sometimes it results from a little thing, and because they couldn't talk it out, and then maybe the way they try to solve it, somebody might give you a wrong blow, and then it gets to that.
And why the women? Why women? Why?
I think it's not a matter of women. This thing is kind of no education. We don't teach them. Right from no family sit down to teach people how to become husbands and wives. So, and then how to relate to each other. So now the women, you might see it, if you see it happen like the women, that was a counter reaction from the man. From what probably because women beat men mostly with their mouth, and sometimes the man react with a blow.
Anyway, we've not gotten into the debate proper yet. We'll certainly talk about that. We equally have Nancha Ngwafak Winnie. I hope I pronounced your name well. She is an advocate solicitor before the Cameroon and Nigerian Bar Associations, managing partner of JFC Advocates Cameroon, a law firm. How are you doing today? I'm sure it's the first time you're coming on set to talk about issues concerning women.
Exactly. I'm doing great, Maureen. Thank you very much for the invitation.
And I feel if I were to ask you, what are the most pressing needs of women today? Not wants, needs.
Yeah. I think that from, the clients interview that I've been by clients, I've come to realize that most women today, they lack emotional attention from their husband, from their men with whom they live, because we go through so many hardships, economic, social hardships, and when they get back home, they need this moral attention from their men, and they don't get it. So we have this moral abuse.
It's good we have a man here. I'm sure Pastor was just looking at you. And before we dive into today's topic, I would like us to get reactions of women on the streets, what a divorce represents to them, if it is an option or not in marriage. And we'll be right back after the story. Welcome back, and I want us to start with this startling revelation from the Dokoti Court of First Instance, where we had 72 cases of divorce out of 159 civil status registered in a single day. But from our findings, discovered some of the cases are brought over cases, but in a nutshell, the problems or cases related to divorce are on the rise in Cameroon. Now, when you get those figures, doctors, are they not quite frightening when you get the statistics from just one single court?
You know, we used to know that marriage was a problem in Cameroon. Our mothers used to say it. Marry na die hard, marry na management, na roof the cover all things. We didn't have statistics. So
and
when
up to now, we don't still have the real statistics.
At least when you go into a court wall and you see 72 cases, they jump at you. You are like, whoa, whoa. We used to say this thing like a joke, but it's serious. And I think marriage is a serious problem. Marital problems are really drowning us. If we don't have these statistics and we start working to improve, it will get worse. It will get worse.
Are you shocked by the statistics, Pastor?
Yeah, like you say, maybe they were. But now that we are able to have some statistics from the court, there are still some out of the court. There are still some, because not all in our society in which we are, not everybody has the paper as a married certificate. There are people who have been staying for years, and at some point they have to break up with children and stuff.
And those are documented, because I'm sure even if you go to, you get into some neighborhoods or you get into some villages, people just separate, or I mean, it happens every day.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that is not documented. Now, Barrister, you are in court every day. How alarming is a problem when you get to court?
The problem is really alarming, because we get to realize when you're in court with this court roll that shows about 76 cases only on divorce, it shows that there's a real problem, a deep problem in couples. But we all know that marriage has been put in place for a long life term. But at the end of the day, once the couple, they don't get to understand each other, they just set apart.
And I'm sure you're married.
Of course, I'm married. And I feel this opportunity to just inform you guys that today is 9th years anniversary. We are celebrating our 9 years anniversary today. Wow. And thank you for the opportunity, because I'm going to share also my experience and what I've been, you know, getting in contact with my clients.
All right, 9 years of marriage. Have you ever had divorce as an option? Like there's a certain period where like you should just let it go?
Okay, to be sincere, when I decided to get married, I said it's for a long life term. The divorce is not an option. But, you know, there are some moments where you say, am I going to resist till the end of my life? You know, there are temptations to your bed. After that, you now say, no, I'm here to stay, no matter what.
But the man has never touched you, like beat you?
No, no.
But
no.
If you reach that point?
If I reach that point, we'll find solutions to remedy to the problem.
All right.
But I'm sure there are many women who will come after you like, a man touch you and you stay. But I think the problem is that we don't explain things to our married couples. During the honeymoon, you fall in love with your chemicals, your body secretes substances. That's what explains the butterfly feelings in your stomach, the tingling sensations on your body. But that lasts only the honeymoon. They should be prepared for the reality. They should have tools, how to manage conflicts, how to manage children, how to manage in-laws, how to manage money. How do you go into marriage without knowing how to manage money? How to even manage communication, your sexuality? Because the sexuality will change over time too. You know, that hot fire will change and give place to tenderness. So if they don't learn all of those things, it will reach a time when they think that they've fallen out of love.
Now we're looking at the causes already here.
Yeah. They're falling out of love. But actually you don't fall out of love. You have problems, you need to know how to manage them.
Which means that we have the first problem is absence of pre-marital counseling.
Education. Yeah.
Pastor.
See, most often, two young people getting to marry, they don't have the same idea. The young man is saying what I call legal sex. I'll have her anywhere, anytime. But the young woman is not saying that. she is not into that. She is seeing somebody who will take care of her. And I mean, she's not going to get home, and she has a place for control. So one of the causes is that this man wants her every time. In the morning, one young girl told me, is it the food? The man will want her in the morning, in the afternoon, in the days. But like you said, when people are young, the man is so energized. So why did the man marry you? He admire you, he desire you, he wants to get there. So some of the causes, like what Doctor just said, sexuality, when it was not taught. Like to me, when I talk on marriage, I always tell people it's a commitment. I used to teach that marriage was love and respect. But I came after a long while to know that it was a commitment. And how do you teach people on how to stay in it and understand? Because we talk about communication. For example, there is what I always put it this way, and I want us to reason. So when you don't understand something, ask a question. If I said, Dr. Maureen called me to tell you, to tell Med that her father is dead. Whose father is dead?
Yeah.
So if you don't come back to me or call the Maureen, you might not know whose father is dead. That's another point of communication. And like we talk communication, sometimes in communication people think that it's a matter of talking. No, it's a matter of understanding. Oh, I'm from Batigo, but I speak most the Bali because I grew up with my mother and I love the Bali culture. Now, she's from China, for example. If if we got married, she's speaking Bafang, I'm speaking Bali, there's going to be problem. We are communicating, but we are making noise.
So communication, lack of communication is one of the things that can provoke or push.
And the communication is you try to understand what that man is saying, what their spouse is saying. Because if she's talking in Bafang, I'm talking in Bali, we will not understand. People will hear us talking, but we are making noise because none of us understand.
Maureen, people have to learn what is called non-violent communication.
That's right.
As simple as that.
Mes enfants, je vais vous dire une chose. Lorsqu'on se marie, c'est pour le meilleur et le pire. Ton mari ne s'occupe pas de toi. Tous les jours, je viens, je m'occupe de toi. Je cherche la nourriture, viens te donner. Et ça continue, tu es malade. Il ne fait rien de toi. On va demander que tu viens rester à côté de moi. Quand ça ne va pas, qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire? Il faut rencontrer certaines personnes âgées qui vont vous prodiguer des conseils. Mais si ces conseils-là ne tiennent pas, vous voyez au moins trois couples, personnes qui ont pu supporter leur ménage.
Je ne crois pas. Parce qu'à tout problème, il y a une solution. La solution n'est pas de partir. Parce qu'en partant, tu deviens encore un fardeau pour tes parents de l'autre côté.
Donc, on se fait ensemble. Tu as compris, non? Je ne dois pas demander de divorcer, tu dois rester là. Mais comme se voit que c'est la charge est débordée, tu dois rester ça.
Il y a par exemple l'infidélité. Si on a des preuves convaincantes, oui. Si on a vécu la scène en direct, ça va pousser quelqu'un à se séparer.
On se supporte seulement, hein, c'est pas facile. Le mariage n'est pas facile. Parce que tu sors d'une famille, l'autre aussi sort de l'autre famille. C'est pas facile de s'entendre vraiment. Au début, on s'entend. Parce qu'il y a amour superficiel là. Ça dépend de ce qui est à l'origine, de ce qui crée ce divorce-là. Il y a des moments où on peut ne pas divorcer. Si on voit une solution par rapport à ça. S'il n'y a pas amour vrai, le mariage va s'ébranler. Le mariage va s'ébranler. Donc il faut qu'on construise le ménage, le mariage sur des bases solides. C'est-à-dire l'amour vrai. C'est d'abord ça. Mais quand ça commence à accrocher, voyez ceux qui sont à côté. Voyez ceux qui sont à côté, que les jeunes puissent rencontrer ceux qui sont à côté. C'est-à-dire des personnes qui sont mûres, des personnes qui sont matures, des personnes qui ont pu supporter leur ménage. Parce que tout c'est supporter, hein? C'est supporter. Mais je dis aussi que si le couple n'est pas chrétien, ça ne pourra pas bien tenir.
Déjà, moi, je suis une chrétienne. Donc, déjà, je ne valide pas le divorce. Mais il y a des cas d'extrême urgence qu'on ne peut vraiment rien. La vie de la femme, la vie des enfants en danger. Parfois même si c'est l'homme qui ne supporte plus la femme. On s'en sert de faire semblant. Donc, autant mieux se dire au revoir.
Tu peux prouver à ta femme ou bien à ton partenaire que voilà, j'entends que lui, ça lui maintenant de se ressaisir ou alors te donner une raison convaincante et se ressaisir et limiter de faire ces choses-là.
Parfois même si c'est l'homme qui ne supporte plus la femme. On s'en sert de faire semblant. Donc, autant mieux se dire au revoir. Et on devient de bons amis. Ça sert à d'être dans la maison, on ne s'apprécie pas, on ne peut plus il n'y a plus de sympathie, il n'y a plus de compatibilité. Moi je pense que quand la compatibilité disparaît, ça ne sert à rien de continuer à faire semblant.
Manque de communication, l'infidélité, manque de communication, surtout le manque de communication. Oui, parce que si un couple ne peut pas dialoguer, ça ne vaut pas la peine. Ça ne vaut pas la peine. On va se gâter. Ça ne vaut pas la peine.
Now, Barrister, did you have a pre-counseling before getting into marriage?
Before getting into marriage, I had a pre-counseling. You know, in Catholic Church, you have this pre-counseling of six weeks. So I had a pre-counseling from in church. Then beside that, we went through some trainings. Yes, with my fiancé at the time. We went through some trainings, about 2 months, 3 months trainings.
Okay.
And that was really beneficial.
And do you think it really helped in your marriage?
It really helped me.
Things you're applying in your marriage, you tie hats, like they say.
Yes,
you see those things
yes.
and you don't easily act. Pastor, does it mean that a lot of people lack this pre-counseling? That people get into relationship, doctor, without getting into without knowing themselves, without getting into pre-counseling, being counseled before knowing what marriage is all about. And do you think our mothers too have failed in educating the girl child on what they will see in a marriage?
Okay, there is this. Most often I tell people young people that you are not in love. It's after 2-3 years that you people fall in love. You like each other. You like that person. You like the physical look. You like the way she talks. You like some things about the person. Now, counseling, most of them don't want to. Immediately they're thinking of marriage is how probably they're running away from their house, especially the girls, and then they are entering into something that they don't even understand it yet. So counseling is very necessary. The church, and I think that even the government could provide, like I was talking to Doctor, the marital counseling center, because if we don't have a good home, we cannot have a good society.
We don't have them, right? We don't have marital.
No, we don't have.
Yes.
And we really don't have pamphlets, books that we've written, that we can multiply all over Cameroon. Our standard for marriages in Cameroon. This is what we understand by respect. This is what we understand by money management. This is what we understand by managing in-laws for our context. You know, if we don't do that, everybody will do what they understand.
Don't you think that law should be passed where before you get into marriage, like at the level of the court, before the marriage is actually signed, we need the imposed a counseling, a pre-counseling before couples get together? Is it possible?
If they do that, it will help. If they do that, it will help. I mean, not everybody will be able to have a good marriage, but it will reduce the number of divorces, domestic violence, and women being killed in marriage and all those things. Yes.
Let me put on something. There is cultural values and cultural counseling. There are people who come from different cultures.
Okay.
And then probably maybe by the time you are getting married or when you are in fiancés, you have some elderly people who come to talk to you. Now you're coming from another culture with another counseling, then you meet, and then to fuse it, that's where the problem is always there. Because sometimes, like us from the Northwest, we know that I'm a chief. So if I talk,
a king.
A king. So my dude. But to that, in counseling, I put it this way: that a man operates in 3 forms: the man in the bedroom, the man in the parlor, and then the man outside. The man in the bedroom is probably like the baby, so you are the queen in the bedroom. Then the man in the parlor is the king that you want to feel, so he passed command. So you might see that man who was in the bedroom begging and trying to and then now in the parlor is passing command. That's where there's problem. Come back to sexuality. So she sees the man who was a baby inside the bedroom and now he's a king and commanding. Then now the man outside is just a man which probably might stoop low to a younger girl who is his boss of this. So it brings again another. So to cut through this, we try to give the differentiate how a man functions and this. And then the man, sometimes you just coming from the bedroom, you forget to know what is there. Please, can I have my food? Then the girl, look at this man.
So there's absence of communication. There's a problem with communication. Let's look at the economic factors here.
Yes.
We have, can economic factors actually provoke a divorce? Because I'm looking at, we've talked about premarital counseling. I've gone through some factors. We have economic factors, we have violence, we have sex, we have infidelity. Now, among all these factors that we have, which of them is most problematic that will push couples to go separate ways, doctor?
I think it's violence, and the violence can stem from communication. It can stem from poor money management. It can stem from the in-laws. You've seen cases where the in-laws have actually come and taken the girls' things and thrown outside. Yes. It can stem from stepchildren. Stepchildren who don't want the stepmother near their dad. Blended families. It can stem from pressure from the society, where a woman is not having children, and you know, so there are so many reasons.
All right. Now, where do we place infidelity, Midge? Where do you place it?
I think that in addition to what doctor said, before getting into infidelity, economic factor. Because you can support infidelity.
Yeah. And women do.
Women support infidelity.
Okay.
A lot.
But economic factor, I think, is the backbone of all these problems surrounding. Because from the moment where you have a woman that has financially stable, the man is not financially stable, you get to realize that she now starts having some, she has to stand in front of her husband. She's now, she believes that she's not the breadwinner of the family, and she does no longer give the respect that the husband deserves. But now, in a situation where you have in-laws that come in, that is when the woman does not do anything. She's at home. She's depending on the husband. That comes in with the finances, everything that brings up everything. Now, when you have a husband that is, he commits adultery all the time, and he provides enough.
So you bear it. You know, since he's not faithful to you, you bear it. So far as he's taking care of the home.
It's a cultural thing.
Is that what you're talking about?
It's a cultural thing.
It's a cultural factor. That is why most women, they prefer to bear infidelity from the moment where he actually takes his responsibility. He takes care of his family, he takes care of the kids, he pays the school fees, he takes care of the wife. No, we can bear the infidelity at that time.
Because it's almost like polygamy,
Yeah.
It's almost like polygamy. Yeah, because if you come from a culture where polygamy is accepted, and your mother is telling you, when you go to report your husband, my husband has a girlfriend, say, is he paying school fees? Is he paying rent? Is he giving food money? You say, yes. They say, what's your problem? Just die hard.
Exactly.
He is an aeroplane. He will fly, and come and land. You are at the airport. So, that's what they put in our girls' head. But many girls are not accepting it.
But don't you think that's also causing the women a lot of pressure?
That's why girls are not accepting, and we're having more and more divorces.
But with a male-dominated society like us, what is adultery for a man? He has to have sexual intercourse on the marital bed.
And even then, you must have proof at that time. And even when you have proof, it's his man friend. He's a brother like him who is judging the case, who might even give excuses.
So at the end of the day, the woman is trapped. Pastor, you are the man here, so the woman is trapped. Then the woman is trapped. She's in the middle.
So what do you want me to talk on?
He's trapped.
It's here. This thing is it's two ways. Now I want to believe, because when we talk that financial factor, I would say no, and that's what caused a lot of divorce when our children leave from here to America or out of the country, when the woman now start winning. So now, meaning that the girl got married because she was running away from financial, or she needed some.
So you don't agree with
help.
financial economic?
No, financial economic could come, but I don't think that should be a major problem. Coming to infidelity, like we were talking, the problem is, why do men cheat? Why do we go out? If we look, men having sex doesn't start down there, it starts up here. And what pushes you? You might be that beautiful girl and everybody is telling you you're beautiful, but the man looks at you, there's nothing in you. So what's beautiful there?
You're talking like a pastor now, not as a man.
Okay.
The male.
Okay, I'm talking as
the
a male.
human species.
Yes, okay, of the human species. Now, I want us to look at it this way. When it comes, it's not a matter of women. It's just that probably women, it comes up too much. You see it like, but men, they do suffer too as well.
Women suffer more.
I want to believe that one of the things that has caused us and caused a lot of divorce is social media. We live in assumption and then we live in too much lies because people even see acting. People act and we watch it, think that is true. It's a lie. The social media had caused a lot of problems and friends cause a lot of problems. So in counseling, I tell you, your best friend should be your husband. Try as much as possible.
Pastor, social media has just revealed what we were in marriage.
That's right.
Because now the evidence is there. You have the videos that they send. You have the text messages that they send. You have, you know, all those things that people do to show their infidelity. Yeah. So we needed to have prepared our children for marriage, prepare ourselves for marriage. I'm talking, I'm married to have been married for 40 years. It's not been a bed of roses.
I want to come to that. Have you ever like thought of one time in your marriage that divorce could be a better option? I'm sure no time.
Not a better option, but an option. Yeah, every marriage goes through that.
Why?
You know, when you have problems. Maureen, I was married for 8 years. I didn't have a child. I had problems, you know, conflicts with my in-laws and so on. At one time, I would get to like you know, when I was working there, I would lock my office door. I cry before I start working. It was like, you know, maybe leaving him was an option. But then, when a couple can talk together about their problem, they cry together, they pray together. That's what saved us.
All right. Pastor.
And if you're not a Christian, you don't pray?
If you're not a Christian, you talk, you communicate, we are sure.
Okay.
You know, the husband will be like, you know, it's okay. We are going to get a solution together.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Now, statistics show that the first person to ask for a divorce are women. Barrister, do you agree with me?
Yeah, I agree.
Why?
You know,
why would women go for divorce first?
Because the woman is vulnerable. And there are certain things that she can't bear. It's true that, you know, in the society we believe that, no, the woman, she can take so many things, she can take support, but at one point, she can no longer take it. And when it reaches that point, she goes for divorce.
All right. Pastor.
See, there's something if people talk about evidence. The Bible clearly states that you were caught in the act. And the law says that even there's no proof until you've proven seeing me on the act. The law does not provide that if me and you are in the same room, meaning that we did something. Is that correct? So now getting to the law. So when we talk of evidence, it doesn't mean that you saw me poking this girl or we're in a dark corner or probably we are coming from the same room. It becomes a bit trickish there. Now, you're talking about many women who ask for divorce. Sometimes when we are educated, like I said, mostly they live on assumption. There are women who have gone for divorce and finally realized that they were just working on assumptions. They were working on lies. Because if you really, she said something very important here. She made her mind when she was going to get married. It was to go and go. I'm leaving and I'm leaving. And I'm planning to stay. Meaning that you try to make it work. What are the things? Like you said, probably maybe violent. Why would a man slap you? A man will not just get up and come into your house and into the house and start beating you. One woman said, me tap, est-ce que moi je suis tap tap? Il dit parce que tout change aussi beaucoup. Quand tout change, il entend de taper. Vous entendez danser, les gens filment ça. So, when we talk of marriage, we should look at the aspect. I have been married for probably 23 years now. Yes, 24 years. Okay. Well, with me, I come from a very funny background in such a way that I was that funny with girls. So when I was getting married, I prayed, Father, let me love my wife and stay with my wife. So I was coming from an extreme. I was coming from a purely like rotten. Then my wife was coming. The father was the president of Apostolic Church. She was coming from there, then she had never known anything. So I was coming like a crazy man who knows all the nightclubs and So we were meeting. So there were many things she taught. She was saying, if I look at somebody, she said I was lost in. I said, come on, why do you try to tell me what was lost?
But you communicated.
Yes, we took time.
Yeah.
Yes, even at some point, to be honest, you feel like, did I go in for the right thing?
Yeah.
Yes, but along the line, they come in maturity because she now had to learn and I was learning. You know, it's a process. Because there is a Bible verse that I tell people that we misquote or we don't understand. They say, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtain favor from God. It did not say he will get married. It's a process of finding. So I have a girl, which now I have to find a wife in that girl. That's why they call us the groom, because I have to find the wife in that girl. And how do I find the wife? I'm trying to translate into being, so that when I see her, that's why the Bible says, who can find a virtuous woman? I'm trying now I try to teach her, because what caused some of the problem is assumption. I could not be assuming that you should know this without me teaching you, just like what we just said. We don't teach people, we don't talk to people, and people, sometimes, most women are too secretive. They get it until the cup is full and then they explode.
Now, Doc, I was about to ask, what's the place of sex in marriage, and can it provoke a divorce?
At Tesho, we say sex is like salt in food. If there's no salt in the food, it is tasteless. But you can't eat salt alone. Meaning that sex is great for marriage, but you can't build a marriage based on sex alone. And many young people build their marriages based on the feelings they have. They think they're falling in love, the sex is great in the beginning, and they go into marriage. It's like taking a 737 Boeing and giving a person who's not been to pilot school, surely crash.
It won't take off.
It will crash. So, meaning that young people, sex is great. And I've never told young people that sex is not great, because, you know, like in church, they'll say sex is not good, sex is not good. Sex is great. But then, in marriage, if you base your marriage on sex alone, the marriage is going to fail. And later on, the sex will have no meaning. Because you need in marriage to transport your sex from that physical, hot physical, to the hot spiritual.
All right.
Yeah.
But when you don't have the man around you all the time, you're lonely, you don't have anybody, the man is always out there, he comes, he always gives excuses. What do you do?
At that time, there's
Because it means a woman,
you know, you can have sex, that's physical sex. You can have moral sex. How? You know, you can have your husband, he's out of the country, but he is in touch with you like more than anybody that's even beside you all the time.
Okay.
That he shows attention, he shows care, he calls you all the time. What are you doing? Is everything okay? What about your project? Are you advancing, improving? That he shows you love, and that when
that
you
connection.
when you come back, the physical sex that you have will be more than somebody that even does it every day. So I think that in couple, you have to take into consideration also this commitment. You know, we have to be in contact, because for the sex even to work, because you can do sex every day, but it's not. It lacks quality. You do it, but it lacks quality.
All right.
And at that time now, it is not going to be helpful for the couple.
Now, I want a man to talk to about sex a little bit, because, you know, men and sex, and then most of them deprive, so women say men deprive them from it, meaning that he's out there, he's not there, the woman left alone, and sometimes it pushes the woman out. Are we right? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I am so happy for what she said. You know, sex is an act, which it is, you plan it. It doesn't just get up for it. And when you get up for it, it is not interesting. Because if you married, sometimes you could talk to your wife, even hundreds of kilometers away, the way you talk. I am not advocating like those who want to do nude pictures and some stuff. I don't accept that.
It's not good. It can fall into the wrong hands.
And then it becomes. But the way you could talk to, because sometimes you talk, even some girls, some people, even they're not yours. You can talk to this girl. She just feel like, I mean, I wish I could give myself to this person. So you can talk to your wife. There are girls that they don't. Their husband touched them. One woman say, if my husband touched me, it seems as if there's a knife getting through me. If I'm getting, we're getting, because there's not been that communication, that preparation towards that act. And then they are meant to, that the woman naked herself in front of him, it doesn't mean anything. So it is an act that is prepared, and it is not an action like immediately. It's not an action like, so if I am away or you are away, you call, you text, wow, there are words, because men, we are built with words, and so as we could be destroyed with words. There are the words that I can tell you out without them there. Now you are already waiting. That's why sometimes when you're coming back home, the person is like, let's just start it at the door, because you've been preparing. But there are times that you come back, you are there, you're doing everything, is looking, and there's nothing is happening. So it is a matter of communication. What doctor is talking, communication. And
people need to learn communication. Please.
Communication breaks through. Yes. Exactly. It breaks through. Okay. I for one, I grew up, I was a very shy person. And I went to a technical...
Well, nobody can tell.
Yes. Then I went to a technical school, because my father had a building construction company, so I had to go and be a technical student until the company was closed. So I wasn't talking in the public, so I was kind of a shy person.
But you learned.
But I've learned, and now everywhere I pass, everybody is happy. I just make fun. I just go. That people turn it, my shyness and calmness, to be like proud. They say, "Oh, that's the son of Honorable Francis Acha." Oh, yeah, he's that way. Maybe because of his father. But it was because of.
All right, I want us to watch this story for 30-year-old girl Diane, killed by her own husband. She was laid to rest some weeks back. We'll be right back after the story.
According to reliable sources, the incidents all started on May 15 when Yene Ndongo Christelle Michelle celebrated her birthday at her hairdressing salon in the local market. Reports say her lover, with whom she had entertained an extramarital relationship, got her beaten for reasons still unknown. The following day, in front of her children, Yene was involved in a heated argument with her husband. Eyewitnesses report that she was then also beaten by her spouse. Yene was taken to the hospital in Ambam, where a medical examination revealed signs of a nosebleed. However, just a few hours later, she collapsed and died.
I had a quarrel. When I went out to check, I saw her living, bleeding. She told me she was going to the hospital. Later, I heard she was dead.
2004, si j'ai bonne mémoire, entre 2004 et 2005.
Et comment est-ce qu'elle vivait avec vous?
Oh, bon, du moins, moi, je la prenais comme ma fille, puisqu'elle a aussi avait à peu près l'âge de ma fille. Bon, c'est comme la comme ça dans le quartier, c'était même pas le genre que, bon, peut-être on marchait ensemble. Non, c'est juste seulement parce que on était les voisines du quartier. Et à un moment donné, moi, j'ai déménagé, je suis descendue plus bas encore, là, j'ai construit ma maison.
Oui. Once alerted, the local law enforcement quickly arrived at the scene to investigate the circumstances surrounding her death. Her husband, described as the primary suspect, is currently being held at the main police station in the town of Ambam.
I learned about her death from my fourth child. I was shocked and asked what happened. I had just returned from the farm and had no idea.
The population of Ambam is still in shock, with many residents visiting the hospital to mourn the loss of the mother of 5 children and 1 grandchild. The public prosecutor has been notified. An investigation is going on at the public security in Ambam.
Why? Elle a dit qu'elle ne veut plus voir
Welcome back. And this time around, I want us to look at impact a solution, because there are people who go into divorce not knowing the consequences on the children. Doctor, is it just go to walk into I want to divorce, I want bet? Do you know the consequences of divorcing or letting go the man or the woman? What about the family? What about the children, Doctor?
Yeah, I think when people are doing preparation for marriage, divorce and the consequences of divorce should be one of the modules that they teach, you know. Preparing for retirement should be one of the modules that they teach. How to take care of the in-laws should be one of the modules that they teach. Because many people don't really know the consequences of divorce, the emotional consequences of divorce. Imagine that you have a problem with your husband, you've asked for pardon. When you go to court, he's going to bring that back out and throw it in your face, because he has to paint you black. So you relieve that bitterness and anger through that divorce process. The children relieve things that they didn't even know about, just because one has to paint the other black. So now you suffered in marriage, you suffered through the divorce, and you carry that bitterness and trauma with you. The children carry it with them throughout life. At the center, sometimes we have children who've gone through divorce. We have people who've gone through divorce. You know, they're divorced, but the trauma is still affecting them, post-traumatic stress disorder, and they need to process that. So divorce is not as easy as people think, you know. It can usher in other problems.
Now, at the level of the court, barrister, I want to find out the procedure. What's the procedure? Because a lot of people think that it's an easy task. It's not at all easy. There's a procedure you need to go through, and sometimes it takes all of your money, right?
Exactly.
It goes in. You need a lawyer. You need this. You need this.
Okay. Under the Cameroonian law, you have two procedures when you want to engage in divorce. You have a procedure before the High Court, or the second procedure is the procedure before the Court of First Instance. When you go through the High Court, the first stage at the High Court is for conciliation. The judge, first of all, start a procedure for conciliation, try to reconcile the couple, and if it doesn't work now, it will go down to a court session. That's at the High Court, and it entails money, because at the first step, conciliation, you have, first of all, you need a lawyer, you need to be assisted by a lawyer, then you need to pay some fees. Now at the court level, that's the first procedure, because you have to, it depends on you, you have choice. The second procedure that you can engage is before the Court of First Instance. Court of First Instance and under customary matters. Okay. Yeah. So that one is more, that's time efficient, because it goes very fast. It goes very fast. There's no time for conciliation. No. Because when you go there, that means both of you, the couple, they are already ready to, you know, to sway away. Yeah, exactly. So the Court of First Instance, you go directly to court. You now need to bring up now proofs, because here in Cameroon they don't recognize mutual divorce. That is, okay, we want to set apart, but what are the reasons?
Yeah. So the court will, first of all, the court will try to reconcile you first. Yes. When it's difficult to reconcile, then they move to the next stage. Exactly. But it means the court can even send you back to counselors to see if they could try and seek solution. I'm not trying to say that people should divorce. That's not the essence of the program. But trying to seek solutions. Our problem is to address the problems, so that people could fix their marriages. Because no, there are a lot of toxic marriages, but there's always a way out. We have family counselors, you can go to church, there are a lot of procedure, except you have reached that stage where you can't cope. But now, barrister, I'm tempted to ask you, is divorce a good thing? When do you consider it as a good thing or a bad thing? Divorce,
No, divorce is never a good thing. I mean, I follow cases that the man got at the court and said, why didn't you just kill me? Because the woman, you know, sometimes you're pushed maybe by your legal counsel, as they call it, to give all the facts so that he brings it up in the court. And when it was brought in the court, the man turned around and burst into crying. Tears. He said, why didn't you just kill me? It was just enough you killed me. Why did you have? Just like what doctor said. There are some secrets. It is always good that we agree. If you want to get divorced, you agree. This is what we will say, and this is what I'm saying, because there are a lot of consequences. If there are children, you will go round and come back. You go round and come back to that, the children.
Yeah.
And at some point, you have to look for, the soft bed where, you see that maybe my decision was not right. This divorce has never been good. The only time that if I might even advise when there is too much violence. But most often I try to talk to the woman. If they are beating you, probably maybe you talk too much, or you are quick temper, you are too angry. How anger management? Because look, there is no way except, and sometimes some women push for divorce when they become financially stable or even more than the man.
All right. I beg to differ, Maureen.
Okay. Yes.
Don't say a woman talked a lot and then the man beat her.
Right.
The man is a coward. A man who beats his wife because she talks a lot is a coward. Because when he's in the office, people talk to him anyhow.
Yes.
His bosses might talk to him anyhow. He controls his anger. He controls himself.
Good.
Then he gets home. His wife talks to him and he uses that as an excuse to beat on her.
Yes.
So I don't even agree. The man is a coward. And when he accepts that I am a coward, please teach me how to control my anger, because this is killing my family, killing my children. That is where the solution starts.
Yeah,
don't give excuses.
Yeah, no, I'm not giving an excuse. It's
no, I'm not saying you, but many men.
Yes,
would
look,
give excuses.
it is an abomination. I put it an abomination for a man to lay a hand on a woman.
But they do that.
Yes, it is an abomination. I tell them, don't do that. The worst thing is just, the better thing for you to just leave the house. Don't even do it.
Now, what are the solutions, Doctor?
Solution is anger management.
Anger management.
Anger management is something that people need to learn. Communication is something that communication is active listening. What are the tools for active listening? When you are listening to your husband or your wife, don't look at your watch. Don't make like this. Don't roll your eyes. Don't just, all those non-verbals and the verbals. The language that you use. They are words that destroy. They are words that build. So you need to know the difference. Choose what you want to use. Communication, the tone of voice, the facial expression, all of those things. People need to learn.
Okay.
Communication is not something that you just get up in the morning and you say you know how to communicate. You learn.
All right. Solutions.
Yes. Doc, I'm so very happy. They said in Proverbs, it said, who can find a virtuous woman? She is more precious
than diamonds.
Good. Now, do you know what it means? How do you get diamonds? It's a process. You're patient, you're digging, you're doing something. Than silver or gold. So where you walking? So who can find it? It is a question God is asking. So violence is not an option. It is you, the man, that have to find the woman. Who can find it? You need patience. Teaching her. Later. Now, in the book of Matthew, it says, remove first the stick in your eye, then you can remove the dust that is in somebody's eye. The eye was used, talking. There are ways to correct your wife. Sometimes you talk to them carelessly and they feel hurt. They feel embarrassed. They feel... Those are the things that it eats them, and they don't even realize that those are the things that have gone into the subconscious mind. She too is reacting funny. To me, marriage is mostly on the man's head, because you are the one that go look, and when you look, you have to fix it. You have to, because you ask and the wife receive.
All right, Barrister, solutions.
Solution.
Yeah.
I think that we need to counsel our young girls and young boys, because we always say find a virtuous woman. What about the virtuous man? We know the rights, the obligations of the woman. What about the obligations of the man apart from finance?
Yeah.
Because today marriage is the man comes in with money, full stop. But that's for a marriage to work.
I think that's even the least.
It's more than money. So we need to train our young girls, the young boys from childhood, how to be good husband, how to interact with their wives, and also how to face some difficulties when the woman is just talking. How should you comport yourself?
All right, we're getting to the end of the program, Doctor. I would like you to look at the camera there. You tell a woman what she needs to do to fix her marriage.
Please, women, at Tesho, we say that you are the coach. The husband is the team captain. He only plays. So, you as the coach, be innovative, think. If you've been using the same methods every day and having bad results, please, madam, change. If you can't do it alone, there are people who can help. Come to Tesho. We'll be able to help you. Because in the end, we need to be able to do this review of our relationships every time. If things are not going well, we fix them before it gets to the stage of violence, divorce, because it will plunge you, the children and the man, into problems, trauma, and of course the society suffers.
Thank you, Pastor. You look at the camera there. We're trying to fix marriages. So you're talking to couples out there. Just a few seconds.
What I want to advise is this. If I'm coming from the aspect of the church, the Bible says, love your wife as Christ loved the church and died for her. It is a matter of you trying to understand, trying to teach, trying to help her. And to the women, it is said, submit yourself. Submit, meaning trying to understand, try to respect, try to be loyal to your husband. By doing so, you people will build a better marriage. Marriage is so beautiful. It's a very beautiful institution, especially for a man and a woman. And if you happen to pray together, talk to elderly people. If sometimes you are shy or you don't use your name, you can ask an advice by putting another person's name to get, because sometimes when you put your name yourself, you might not get, because the person who is counseling you will be watching your emotion and will not tell you the truth exactly.
All right.
And see your pastors for more counseling.
Barrister, your camera. Okay. You're talking to women out there.
All right. So all women out there, to couples, once you get into marriage, you must bear in mind that marriage is the foundation of the society. And once you keep that in mind, you have to do everything possible for your marriage to work. How can your marriage work? By being creative, by communicating with your husband, by being submissive, and by loving your husband, vice versa. And we must also bear in mind that you are there for a mission. You are an actor in the society because you have kids to bring up. So at one point, if you realize that your husband or your wife does no longer have time to love you the way you want, you have to invest in the kids that are there, because you are an active actor for the well-being of the society. Right. If tomorrow you decide to divorce, how will the society look at it? So you have a society in your hands through your marriage. So just keep up, keep working, keep trying, and keep loving.
And thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for responding to our invitation. We're talking about the alarming rates of divorces in Cameroon, Africa. I'm sure you learned something. Take another rendezvous, same time. Bye-bye.